Testing, testing, testing. Hi there, guys. My name is Rohan Beve, and today we are going to be talking about how plumbing system works. Today we're going to be talking about, well, how our plumbing system works. Okay? So we're going to be looking at each part of how, again, our plumbing system works, what happens to all the waste, and stuff like that. So, in order to understand, we have to start from the first part of the plumbing system, the waste drains. Okay, these drains are connected to stuffs, like our toilet, for example. Whenever we flush them, the waste goes down these waste drains into uh, mini- the municipal drain. Okay, which is under the street. Okay, and it mainly gets there from toilets and other stuff like sink and bathtubs and stuff like that. Just any waste gets through these to there. Now, in some areas, you might find these areas called cleanouts, which are these little caps where you can clean the drain just in case if there's a blockage. There's one inside and there is one outside for easy access for plumbers, okay? But now you also might be asking, what about in rural areas where, unlike in urban areas where, there's streets and stuff that will go to that drain, what about in areas where there isn't that, in more rural areas? What about those? Well, the waste will go to a septic tank. Now, what the septic tank does is that it basically splits the waste into solid and liquid. The liquid goes out of these leach fields, okay, which goes out into the soil, while the solids have to be taken up by some truck and to be sent to some waste area, something like that, okay? Now, the next thing we're going to look at is the ventilation system. We have to make sure these drains are also vented properly. And the reason why is that you see, let's say you flush a toilet, okay? When you flush it, okay, the waste will be going down the waste drain, okay? But when this happens, this creates a negative pressure, okay? The vent is there to basically counteract that, okay? To make the pressure equal, okay? Now, we should have to make sure that this vent is not covered, okay? For example, if ice forms or bird nests are on top, we have to remove those or else some bad stuff can happen, okay? Another thing that ventilation is also needed for is to make sure that manholes don't explode, as due to all the methane and stuff like that, if anything can ignite all of this built up gas pressure, it can explode. There have been even reported cases of manhole covers being shot up 50 feet in the air because of this. So, in order to reduce the risk of that, that's why it's also connected to the ventilation. Okay? Now, if we cover it, this could happen, and P traps could lose all their liquids that could be covering them. If you want to know what a P trap is, there's another video for that. But continuing on, okay, that's basically why we need vents, okay? But what about portable water? Portable water is basically found under the street again, with around 40 to 80 psi pressure, okay? This portable water will be there, and this water will eventually go up to a heat tank, okay? uh, what this does, it's a heater, okay? It heats up water and then sends it out to the other areas for some other stuff, okay? For example, taking a bath or a shower with it. You need hot water, that's how you get it. But what about in rural areas, right? Where do they get water? If there's no street, well, they'd simply get it from wells, okay? And another thing we also have to know is of these shut up holes, okay? And what these basically are is that they basically are there just to make sure, just in any case to shut off the water, they can do that with those, Okay, so that's another thing. Now, that's basically then and there. And now, what about, last but not least, rainwater? Where does all this rainwater go as well? So let's say it's raining, right? Whenever it rains, it would go into the top from the, okay, so it starts to rain from up here, okay? Cloud, starts raining. It goes down the roof into the gutters and eventually goes down the gutter system. Now, most people just offshoot the pipe a bit into the soil, nothing too much. Some people might put up a container, okay, to collect rainwater, while some other people use French drains. And these are other extra drains that go under the street to their own uh, areas, okay, their own captive areas. But this can be risky as these drains can be over flooded. So best you either just let the soil take care of it or just collect it with a bucket, okay? Now, speaking of all this waste and stuff, drains and stuff like that, where does this all go? Well, all of this waste eventually goes up to a lifting station where all of it is lifted up and into the following things that can happen. All of the rainwater will be just sent back to rivers, while waste and stuff like that go into a plant. Then, after all of that is filtered out, it gets sent back into the river and then is collected again for fresh water. Okay? That's basically how our plumbing system works, the gist of it. And well, that's basically it. Thank you for watching this video, and hope to see you next time. Bye bye.